Last season, Chelsea finished in third place as they struggled to convert key chances. Mourinho's comment, "I have no striker," was vindicated with a goal total of 71. Their last Premier League title was won with a far superior 103 goals. As new attacking options arrive at the Bridge, will this be their year?
OK, so Costa's arrived and Drogba, the king, is back. What does that mean for Chelsea?
I like Chelsea. I like Chelsea from last season, though. And they underachieved dramatically because Mourinho lowered everyone's expectations. And I think they could have done much better, and they probably will do just as well this season. I think they will. They'll challenge City much further.
I think so, and they've certainly got a few more attacking options. I think Mourinho's having a little bit of trouble with the under-21 British rules, where you've got to have a homegrown squad, and I just don't understand why he didn't bring Lukaku back. He would have counted, weirdly enough, being Belgian as a homegrown player, and he's 21, so he's just on the cusp, and that would have been fine. He's having to offload lots of foreign players at the moment, so he's having a little bit of trouble there. It's a sad state of affairs that they're having to re-sign Didier Drogba.
I've seen Drogba in pre-season and he's looked a little bit like a sort of tribute act.
Really?
Didier Drogba, you know, he's played the right tunes, but he's not quite hit the notes. But then that is Didier Drogba, isn't it? Because you know, he's sort of done that for the last 5 years, really. You can almost guarantee that he goes into a big game and then you'll have the big-time singer who was there before, who will bash, 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 and he'll score the goal.
The thing about Didier Drogba is he knows how to play that lone striker role for Chelsea. He's played that before. Chelsea are very unique because they don't have a lot of attacking options in the striking positions. They attack from out wide, they attack through the centre as well. And Didier Drogba is one of the few players who actually knows how to play that role. Hold up the ball, lay it off, and try and get yourself into a goal-scoring position. He's a heck of a footballer, and even at his advanced years, I think he showed in the World Cup, he's still got something to offer. I think certainly as a squad player.
And the weird thing is, obviously, as a striker, most people expect you to score goals, but it is just as much about assists now and bringing the rest of the team into it. And in that sense, his role is changing. So it's probably a good thing he looks like a tribute act, because he's going to be helping everyone out around him, I think.
One of the things you can almost guarantee about Drogba is that he's going to start 2 games against Arsenal this season, and he'll probably score in both. But you know, he just gives that sort of that gravitas, that big game thing that Chelsea maybe lacked last season.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I agree. But then surely they bought Diego Costa for those games, right?
Well, exactly. I mean, he's one of those players who there's not a single team in the entire world, in the entire cosmos, that wouldn't be improved by that footballer. He's an incredible piece of work, and he's going to score goals. There's just no way around it, really. And I think to a certain extent, I would like to see Mourinho give players like Diego Costa, obviously he spent a lot of money on him, a little bit more rope, that if he doesn't hit the ground running, give him a little bit more time, the sort of time that they've afforded someone like Fernando Torres, for example. I mean, we've seen Atletico Madrid footballers turn up at Chelsea and not particularly perform.
We've seen a lot of strikers do that.
We've seen a lot of strikers do that.
Shevchenko. Who else have they managed to ruin?
There have been 1 or 2.
Yeah. There's 1 or 2. I think there's a series of them that they've ruined.
Kazaragi, Sutton, Fleck.
That's quite a few strikers that the Mourinho era has managed to ruin.
A little bit further back than that, but yeah.
But then you look at a player like Demba Ba, who seemed to score goals in the cup competitions. I don't know why they didn't keep hold of him. Maybe it's that homegrown under-21 rule. I don't know. But I'm still baffled by the fact that he never brought Lukaku back. That just seems like a no-brainer for me.
Yeah.
He's an excellent, strong footballer in the Drogba mould. It's bizarre.
Mentality is a real thing for Mourinho, isn't it? And he wants to be able to have a player 100% mentally, or he just doesn't want them at all.
Well, interestingly, talking there about the strength of Chelsea's squad, they kick off the season at Burnley, where the Forza fans, 90% of them reckon Chelsea are going to win that, on who they think is going to win the league, and 30% of them saying Chelsea. That's ahead of Man City's 13%. Do you think that's a fair reflection of how things are?
I think it's underestimating the strength of Man City and probably a couple of other rivals in the league. Chelsea were interesting last season. A lot of people expected them to be better than they were. And I'd imagine this season there are less excuses for Mourinho there to make.
He's a man who thrives on pressure, and he thrives on that kind of backs against the wall kind of mentality. He's not going to be afraid of that particular challenge.
Well, the Forza fans seem to have confidence in him, because 86% of them think that he's the right manager for the job at Chelsea at the moment, which is a very, very high score when compared with some of the other teams in the top 4 or 5. 86% also happy with the new bolstered squad. So
I think it's interesting with the whole under-21. I keep on going on about this under-21 homegrown own rule. It's kind of Mourinho's kind of paying for the sins of the fathers. The father being himself about 4 years ago when he was back at Chelsea, where he signed all these foreign players, and now he's having to deal with the fallout of that and having to get rid of a load. You know, it looks like Petr Cech's going to be out the door. He's having to kind of cut his cloth accordingly there. So it's quite interesting that he's having to pay for something he did last time he was at Chelsea.